Move the mouse where? Back to the PowerPoint.
Move the mouse back to the PowerPoint and just click once.
Well, should I do that after I close my arrow? I have to close the arrow over here.
Yeah, so close the arrow.
Sorry.
Awesome delay.
So, yeah, be careful when you're going through on that then.
Okay, I'm coming back over here. We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're recording, so you're able to make your introduction. We'll have IT clip it, so all that other stuff's on.
All right.
Time of the war is recording in progress. You're not wrong. Thanks.
On both doors. So they can see this right now and this. Is that what you're? Perfect. All right. And of course, they're going to be able to edit out this whole first couple minutes. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Power Grid Engineering biannual company update. Today's purpose is really to give an update of our company for the first half of the year. As you guys know, we gave the state of the company address back at the end of March, and this is a follow-up. We basically said then what we were going to do, and now we're basically going to let you know how we've been doing and check out the company progress. Spoiler alert, we're doing pretty good. So no complaints. Everybody can take a sigh of relief and get ready for the show here, and I'll play host. So today we're going to be going over our company accomplishments. We're going to be going over our 2013 incentive plan update, and we're going to look at some upcoming initiatives. First thing is accomplishments. Our company and some of the individuals in our company have won some awards this year. So first thing is our company, specifically me, Andre, and Glenn as the owners, we were honored as one of the finalists in the 2013 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Next, Andre he was actually named the 2013 SBA Small Business Person of the Year Award for Central Florida. We were one of the top businesses in Florida for the 14th Annual Diversity Business. And as you guys know, we have a very diverse business, and we're proud of that. 2013 OBJ CFO Award finalist, and this would be the Chief Operating Officer type award for Mr. Glenn DeRee. Next, we have the 2013 Southeast E&R Regional Top Contractors in the Power Sector. Next, 2013 OBJ 40 Under 40 for myself. Inc. 5,000 Fastest Growing Companies. So that was a huge honor for us, and one of the peer groups that me, Andre, and Glenn are involved in, we were awarded the 2013 CEO Nexus Cup Award. So that's an award for small businesses that are in part of this peer group of people that have used the services here in Central Florida to help them grow, and we've definitely done that. A lot of awards. Some other accomplishments. First of all, we completed our Smart Grid commissioning project. We started that last year. This was our largest project to date, a little over $4 million worth. So that project is complete. Next, Rudy, as a follow-up to the Smart Grid project, we are doing a Rudy construction project. We won the bid a few months ago, actually just started here this past week or two. So that's actually our second biggest kind of project that's kind of awarded as a group, and it was $2.2 million about. Our first win, IPP, Pioneer Green Energy Studies Project. This is a system planning project for us. We're doing out of Birmingham. Field services. We've been winning a steady string of projects and being awarded a steady string of projects. One of the more recent ones, FPL awarded us about a $300,000 project at their Duval and Baldwin substations up in North Florida. We had our 2013 PGE training seminars, record attendance. So for the 101 class, 62 attendees, 102, 45 attendees. A lot of those were Power Grid employees, and we're happy to do that because we want our employees to be the best trained out there in the industry. But we did have a lot of people that were non-Power Grid employees show up, and we were very pleased with the attendance. I think both of them were a big success. We got a lot of positive comments back from those. and we're looking forward to doing them again next year. We also have, we're working on a test lab, and as we can help test products in the industry, as we can use it as training for our company and for our new employees. We can implement stuff, so we have successful initial development of that going on. Next, employee growth. We, as of the June 30th date, 95 employees, 11 hired after April 1st. That's huge. We're almost at the 100-person mark. We have hired Ms. Roxanne Kramer, our CFO, VP of Support Services. She's the 5th member to our executive team, which makes up me and Andre and Glenn and Dale, and now Roxanne. We've actually opened an office in North Carolina. We hired Mr. Dwayne Buchanan to be the Director of Engineering for that office. Dwayne's been a friend of ours for several years. We met through the IEEE PSRC meetings, and we saw an opportunity to bring him on, and we didn't want to pass that up. So he's a huge addition to our team. We're super happy to have him. We also have Mr. Mike Schneider, Director of Business Development. So Mike brings years of sales force intelligence to our company. So Andre may be a good salesman, but Mike brings the techniques that Andre just doesn't have. So I smile when I say that. Next, PE licenses. So as you guys remember, as of the beginning of 2012, we only had one licensed PE in our company. That would be yours truly. At this point, we have over 10% of our staff that is licensed PEs. That is a huge accomplishment. It's a huge increase. That gives our company credibility. We used to go into sales meetings, and we would hear that we only had one. They'd ask us, how many PEs do you have? And we would say one. And even though that was good enough to have a business, it wasn't really impressive. And at this point, I think we're working on really becoming impressive with the quantity and the percentage of licensed PEs we have supporting us. And we also have one new FE passer. Mr. Eddie Powell passed his FE, so I'm super proud of him for that. Thanks, Eddie. And you have big shoes to fill for Jose and Andre and Dolly and Isa and plenty of others who need to pass soon. We got some general contractor licenses. Mr. Clay Keene has worked towards getting general contractor licenses in Arkansas and now working in Louisiana. And we'll talk more about that. We found out that was a need for us to do field services work in that part of the country. It was not a need in other parts of the country we're already doing work in, so it was kind of a surprise to us that we needed that. But fortunately, Clay was able to help us out with that, so thank you so much, Clay. New engineering offices. Well, first of all, part of our original plan for this year that we started even crafting last year in 2012 was bringing on Mr. Chuck Carr and opening an office in Kansas, which would do substation engineering work, which is a new service line. So at this point, we have 3 employees in that office. The office is fully built out, it's implemented, it's running, so we can say that's a check mark on everything we needed to do. As I mentioned, we brought on Mr. Dwayne Buchanan. So Dwayne's awesome. We have clients based in Raleigh. For instance, there's an ABB office in Raleigh. There's also Duke Energy has their Raleigh office. And so Raleigh's a good spot for us to have an office. So Dwayne was able to come on. We were able to get a lease on a building. We've implemented that office. So we've actually implemented 2 offices this year, not just one, which was the original plan. So I see this as a step in the right direction to exceed the goal of having 1 new office for this year. So far we have 2 employees, and we've already been awarded a couple projects. So lots of momentum there in the Raleigh office. Next, master service agreements. This is what really allows us to do big work with our clients. So we have some new master services agreement with ABB in Raleigh, Pioneer Green Energy, Brookfield Renewable, Entergy. Our master service agreement award was increased, and Gainesville Regional Utilities. Some of our existing clients have decided to renew with us. So that's part of our plan, is basically maintaining and keeping our existing client base. So MEAG in Georgia, Gulf Power in Western Florida, and Georgia Power have all renewed their master services agreements with us. Whenever master service agreements are renewed, it's a way for us to increase rates. It's also a way for the clients to come back to us and maybe say, we're not interested in doing business with you anymore. Now that your contract expired, we're not going to renew. So whenever we get one that's a renewal, that's part of our goal of attracting and retaining new clients. So we do have some new clients that have awarded us projects. So we're doing work for ABB, for GRU in Gainesville, Duke Energy Raleigh, Pioneer Green Energy. So these are new clients that we're getting traction with. Another big thing, we published our first white paper presented at the Georgia Tech Conference this year. So Adrian and some of the others from our Winter Springs Engineering office all worked on a communications-based white paper, and I think it was a big success. It helps us get our name out there. Everybody that goes to Georgia Tech, it's in the print. The people get to go see it. They get to know that, hey, Power Grid Engineering is a subject matter expert in something, and that's all part of the master plan. Dollars for doers, 124.5 volunteer hours as of the end of June, which is $600 in dollars for doer donations. So this is one of the many ways that we give back to our community, and I thank everybody who put forth the hours for the dollars for doers. Incentive plan update. So basically, we do have an incentive plan, and so we told you guys earlier in the year, basically by the end of the year, we had some targets we were going to try to be doing. And here's the update. So the first thing is revenue. It's our goal to bring in $15 million in our top line revenue this year. So as of the middle of June, we are at $7.2 million, just over $7.2 million. So if you guys can do the math, 15 million divided by 2 is 7.5. So we are doing pretty well, but to be honest with you, we're almost about $300,000 short of the goal. The good news is we're almost at the goal. So I don't consider this to be bad news. We're halfway through the year. We may not meet the 15 million goal, and that's okay if we don't meet the 15 million goal. We're definitely going to be higher than we were last year, so we're definitely moving in the right direction. So right now we're at 7.2. Ideally, we'd be at 7.5 or higher to help ensure we meet the goal. So we have some work to do. And if we don't meet the 15 million, it doesn't mean that that our company's failing. It just means that we just didn't grow as much as we wanted this year, but we have a lot of positive momentum going. So I don't want you to see that as a negative thing, as opposed to the real numbers are a little bit less than what the goal was. The goal may have even been a stretch goal for us. It may have been one that was, we came up with it based on some positive outlook. I'll talk about another reason why we're possibly not going to meet the full 15 million here in just a few minutes. Next thing, profit after capital expenditures and investments. We're hoping for $1 million. So right now we're at 300,000, which is less than really where we should be. So ideally, doing the math, if we were hoping for $1 million by the end of the first half of the year, we should be at $500,000 right now. Well, we're a little bit less than that, but why is that? Well, first of all, we opened 2 offices this year, not 1. And the good news is we don't go into debt to do that. What we do is we fund that from operations. So as we invoice our clients and we get money in our account, as we open a new office, we don't go get a new loan for that. In short, we just fund it right from our operations. So the good news is that we've opened 2 offices, and we are tracking positive. So with a net income so far this year, a little over $300,000. So I'm pleased with that, especially given the fact that we have opened a second office, which we weren't counting on doing until sometime in 2014. So I'm good with this number. It does mean it's a little bit less than what our goal was, or we're not on track for exactly meeting the goal, but we now have a new engineering office to show for it. Next, scorecard. So the scorecard is really metrics that we're going to be looking at as a company on a weekly basis. And we have been operating with a scorecard for several months now. So you could say that we're using a scorecard, which is great. The scorecard is something you got to get good at. It's something you got to refine. So I'm going to consider this one partially implemented, and we'll show you what we're looking at in just a minute. So we're not done yet. Of course, the year's not over yet either. So especially now that we have a new CFO on board that's really good at metrics and numbers and reporting, I think we're going to really fine-tune our scorecard here in the 3rd quarter and 4th quarters of this year. Next measurable, 3 offices, 3 engineering offices. So we were planning on a Florida office, which we've had for several years. Our Alabama office, so that office is since the beginning of 2012. Our goal was the Kansas office, but of course we now have the North Carolina office as well. So we've exceeded this goal. We have the 4th office up and running, and that office already has work. So I'm super happy about that. Next measurable, we were expecting probably about 110 total employees by the end of the year. As of June 30th, we had 89 total. So we have some more hiring to do, but obviously we don't want to hire unless we have work for them, billable work for them. So we have some work to do there also. This is as of June 30th. We've actually hired several more since then, and we'll look at those numbers in a few minutes. Safety. So 0 OSHA recordables and 0 controllable vehicle accidents. So our goal, of course, is to have no OSHA recordables and no controllable vehicle accidents, and we're tracking to that 0, 0. Well done. This is showing a success to our safety program. This is showing that our staff embraces our safety program and is practicing safe habits every single day at work. Because safety is not just a, let's do a real big push one day and then we can forget about it. It's a every day, every minute, every second type of goal that we have to be safe. So I'd like to compliment our staff for basically tracking so well on our safety goal. To look at our scorecard, just want to talk about a few of the things that we're looking at from a scorecard. The first is pipeline. So pipeline is really the sales force out there. What type of measurable can we look at to how much work is potentially out there? So this is where Mr. Mike Schneider comes into play. Is we're developing a pipeline, not only developing the content of the pipeline, but also how we're going to measure the pipeline. This one is not done yet. We're in the process of developing it. Of course, Mike's only been here for a couple months, so we have a lot of work to do on this, but it's really important for us to know what is the pipeline of work that's out there. It helps us forecast our growth, our investment dollars, our staff, where we need to open new offices. So the pipeline is important. We're working on it. It's not done yet. I do expect to have the pipeline well-defined and well-implemented by the end of the year, though. So I don't think this is something that's, that we're not doing well on. Next is safety. So we're currently measuring safety. We've been measuring safety for a long time. That's an easy thing for us to put on the scorecard. It's an important thing, but it's an easy thing for us to track, and we've been tracking that for a long time. Next is backlog. So backlog is really how much work do we currently have contracted, and how many months out is that going to take us? So we're looking at the backlog, and we're still trying to define the backlog a little bit, but we've been using the backlog numbers as it comes from our new program, Deltek. And the backlog definitely shows us having several months worth of work that's out there. It's really looking at just the project work and not the folks that are T&E, because we have a good bit of our staff that is staff augmentation to companies like Duke, Florida, Georgia Power, Florida Power and Light. It's not really looking at that. So we still have to do some defining there, but we've been using a backlog number. And the goal is to make sure we have several months of work out there ahead of us all the time. Our clients don't let us know 2 years in advance they're going to give us work. Sometimes they call us and say, can you work on something this weekend? So sometimes it's really short notice, so it's impossible to track all numbers in a backlog, but we definitely want to have enough projects to basically forecast out a couple of months knowing that we have that much work for our staff that's out there. Project performance. So we're still trying to define this one as well. From a project performance perspective, we really need to be looking at quality, schedule, and financial performance. So it's actually really easy at the end of the project. After it's done, it's turned into the client, and we get their feedback to know, was the quality good, was the schedule good, and then was the financial performance good. That's all history. So it's easy to get that history. What's hard to do is to halfway through the project, a quarter of the way through the project, 3/4 of the way through the project, know, are we on track for quality, are we on track for schedule, and are we on track for financial performance? It's harder to measure that. So we're still in the process of defining how we're going to do that. Some of this information is going to come from Deltek. Some of it probably from some sort of an internal audit that we're going to do and check. So we're working on defining that, so it's not done yet. I do expect it to be done by the end of the year, so I think we will have achieved this by the end of the year, but it's not complete yet. Another thing we're looking at is the effective multiplier. Effective multiplier, essentially the total revenue divided by the direct hours on a per project basis. And then you can, of course, take that to the whole company basis. This is an internal thing to Deltek, automatically calculated. So we're definitely looking at this, and we're trying to track at a 3.0 or higher on this is what we're looking at. Utilization rate. This is about profitability. This is about productivity. This is making sure that all the hours we spend, as many as possible, we're able to bill for those hours. We are a professional service company. And as a professional service company, you only get paid when you're providing a billable professional service. So the utilization rate basically says how effective are we doing that. And so we've been, once again, that's an internal number to Deltek that we get a report that says what we're doing. So utilization rate, we're looking at it. I would say that's fully implemented. We're always fine-tuning things, what the goal number should be, how we're looking at it, but we're definitely using the utilization rate. The last one is company budget. So that's one of the third quarter, fourth quarter rocks for our new CFO, is really to help us work on the budget. We know what our spend is going to be. We know what expenses are coming up between payroll and insurance and different things like that. What we really haven't done is implemented a system to compare estimated to actuals, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. Deltek has the capability of doing that. This is a huge program, and it's taken us a long time to fully implement, but we're actually tracking really well with that right now. So company budget, we're going to be having that third quarter, fourth quarter this year, and it's really going to be a tool we use in 2014 to help take us to the future. Next, VTO. If you guys remember from the VTO, we had several things that said, what does it look like? If we are successful this year, what does that really look like for us? So the first thing is we said we want a new Tier 3 client. So this is one that's not great news. We're probably not going to have a new Tier 3 client for this year. So let's talk about why not. We were targeting Entergy to be the new Tier 3 client for us. So we've been doing engineering work for Entergy here now for I don't know, a year, 2 years, for a while now. We have a good relationship with them. It's our Birmingham staff that's supporting that. It is really hard to get an engineering office, especially from a company our size, to do $3 million or more doing just engineering. So the plan for Entergy was to not only do engineering, but also the field services work, the testing and commissioning that we do, possibly some construction management, project management, even being the prime contractor on some of their substation addition projects, and we would sub out the electrical labor. So that was the plan. The problem is that we started to try to do that work with Entergy. They asked us, where's your GC license? So in Florida and in Georgia, a GC license is not required to do the field services work, and that's really our bread and butter to do that. So when we were focusing on Entergy as that next Tier 3 client, we were not aware that we were going to have to get a GC license in that state to do that. So at this point, we have that license. But it's also, as of today, it's basically 8 months into the year. So I don't think there's enough time the rest of this year to bring up the revenues that we have with Entergy up to the $3 million level. So I don't think we're going to meet this particular goal. Or what does it look like of having the new Tier 3 client? It's essentially, it doesn't mean that we're doing bad. It just means, you know, we're going to have to get 2 Tier 3 clients for next year. We're going to have to do better next year at defining who that client's going to be, and then coming up with a better plan of how we're going to get there. The whole GC license took us by surprise, since that wasn't what we had to do before. But I'm confident that we're going to be able to turn Entergy into a Tier 3 client. It's likely not going to be done by the end of 2013. EOS implementation. So this is the Entrepreneur Operating System, the VTO, the Level 10 meetings, the ROCs, the to-dos, the scorecard. So we have fully embraced this program. It has helped our company get organized in a way that we were certainly not organized before. It's helping us look at metrics and numbers the way we weren't before. It's helping us keep track on our forward progress. And it's helping us just track every time we say we're going to do something. If we put it on a to-do list, we follow up with that. So we've definitely embraced this. We've implemented it. We're always tweaking how we apply it, but in essence, it is a success. The next thing is Deltek. So Deltek's awesome. It's a program. It's given us a lot of data. It's a very useful tool. We're still learning. With a tool like this, I would say it's a multi-year process to implement a new software and to fully use all the features in that tool that you can. So we are using it for as you guys know, for our payroll. We're using it for all of our back-end accounting, all of our project creation, all of our reports. So it is up and running. It is implemented. We hope to get more out of it as we grow, as we become more familiar with the program, as we hire the financial experts to help us. But I would say as of right now, it's fully implemented, and we're using it every day. Employee count. So we said probably about 110 employees. Actually, as of today, we have a total of 95 employees. So 83 full-time, 2 interns, 2 on-call, 4 part-time, 2 temporary. So we have a total of 95. So between now and the end of the year, our goal would be to increase that number of employees closer to the 110. We already have several that are planning on starting here in the next couple of months, such as a recruiter as an example. So as we find these new employees and they start, they'll be increasing this number. We don't want to just hire a bunch of people just to meet the number of 110, though. We want to do this smart. So what we're going to do is we're going to line work up for people. We're going to get new contracts, new clients, and we'll be staffing up to meet that. But we have to do it smart. So right now we're at 95. I feel good about where we're at. We do have a lot of work to do to get to 110, especially if those next 15, or at least the majority of those next 15, were part of billable staff. Budget. Well, we've already talked a little bit about it. We do not have a budget like in place where every month we're looking at estimate versus actuals, but we are tracking our expenses, making sure that we do have cash to cover everything that we do. That's how we've operated our business for a long time, and we're on the process of implementing the budget, and it should be fully implemented by the end of 2013, so I'm comfortable with that. We said we needed a CFO. We needed a support services manager. Well, we hired a high enough level person, Ms. Roxanne Kramer, that she's actually CFO and VP of Support Services. She's one of the company officers. We're super blessed to have her, and she's going to help us grow in a way that I don't think we could do it without her. So, you know, part of running a company the size we are is hiring that high-level staff that can meet the needs that, that the original officers of the company just couldn't meet. We need people that have the financial skills, the relationship skills, the sales skills to help us grow. And so I think by hiring some of these higher level folks, I think we're accomplishing that. So it's a slow process. I'm super happy to have Ms. Roxanne on board. As you guys have to interface with her, be nice to her, welcome her. And then also respect her because she has the ability to really help us meet some of our revenue goals. We're going to be putting some cost controls in place. We're going to be putting the budgets in place. We're going to be reducing some of our spending to help us meet some of the financial tools. Without having the monthly budget where we're looking at the estimates versus actuals, it's really tough to control some of that spending because you're kind of everything you look at is kind of in the past and it's in history. So as of this month, we're putting in some new controls in place to help us cut down on our costs, get costs approved before they happen, and make sure we're tracking in the right direction and we can afford everything we do. So I'm happy about that. And next, we said we're going to open the El Dorado office and have it up and operating, which is true, we do. So that one's also complete. So we're doing a lot behind the scenes to support the overall company. We're working on each one of these, and so we're happy about the progress that we're making. Upcoming initiatives. So these are things that we're currently working on that we're going to be rolling out to you guys. So the first thing is looking at the 2014 incentive plan. Internal communications, employee wellness program, our 2014 employee benefits, looking at the new market in the northwest of the U.S., and doing some field services work in Texas. So first thing is company goals. So this year we kind of are using the VTO, the traction, the one-year plan as the company goals for revenue, profit, and the three measurables. And then of course we have safety in there as well. In 2014 and on, we're basically looking at the same stuff, but it's not really going to be the hardline VTO numbers. We're going to be looking at number one, safety, the same thing, OSHA recordable injury rate, and the controllable vehicle accidents. We're going to be looking at profitability. So profitability is that net income number after all expenses. We're going to be looking at budget. We want to make sure that if we have a budget, we're meeting the budget. We want to come in under budget is the goal, and the more we come in under budget, the better our profitability is going to be. Performance. We said we're looking at schedule, we're looking at quality, we're looking at the financial performance of every project. We have to perform. And last, we're looking at growth. And this growth is really the top line revenue number that we're looking at because that says how much we're growing. So if we have a 20% growth, it'll be 20% over what we did this year. So we don't know what all these numbers are going to be yet. This incentive plan, looking at these 5 things, is when I say it's pending, we just haven't finalized it for 2014 yet. We haven't come up with the targets because we kind of got to see how we end 2013 first. So more to come on this. But this is going to be kind of a rigid, controlled incentive plan. And what that means for you is as we meet these goals, it'll be formally, through a formula, paid out via a bonus to our staff. So our goal is to always do the profit sharing at the end of the year. Next, you spoke, we listened. So we've been participating in the Florida's Best Company to Work For campaign put on by Florida Trend for the past several years. And we won it a couple years in a row. When I say won it, we weren't number one, but we were in their top list. We were not awarded that this year. So that kind of hits home to me. Because I always want our employees to feel like our company is one of the best companies to work for. So this is a survey. And in a survey, we get the results of the survey. So there was a couple of categories that we scored lowest in. Two categories were corporate culture and communications. So first thing is, our employees want to know how PGE is doing financially. Well, here I am. This is why we're doing this today. This is why we did the State of the Company address, is basically financial transparency. There's nothing to hide here. And so I want you guys to know how we're doing. I want you guys to feel like you can come talk to me and ask your manager how we're doing. I can tell you our company is doing great. I'm very pleased with where we are as a company. We're starting to knock off a lot of things that have just been low-hanging fruit for a long time. We're starting to really gain some traction. So I feel very good about this, but that's why we're here, is because if you guys want to know more about our company financials, that's why we're doing stuff like this. You know, after we give this, I'd love some feedback on how you guys thought about even today's presentation, and if there's things that we want to include in the future that we did not include today, I want you to let me know. Next, employees want more detailed and frequent corporate communications. So we have a communications plan that we're going to be rolling out here in the fourth quarter of this year. So you probably want this because we're growing and we're opening new offices and we're hiring new high-level people and we're instituting new software and new programs and new rules or new policies and procedures. And so I think as our company has grown from a small company to a not-so-small company, I think we've done a lot of stuff without really doing the communication to the employees that we should have. So the first thing is, I apologize for letting that happen on my watch. From here on out, I can tell you we're going to be doing a much better job of communicating to you guys, and our communication staff is going to be working on that. Next, employees want changes which affect them communicated prior to implementation. Once again, this happened on my watch, so I apologize. We've made a lot of changes as we've grown from a small to a not-so-small company, and it's a tough thing to manage these changes. We have not rolled them out in the way we should, and it's our goal to make sure that doesn't happen again. We want to do meetings like this. We want to let you guys know what's coming up. We have our weekly newsletters. We have our monthly newsletters. We have our 10-minute meetings. We have the staff meetings that we have. All this is a way to keep you informed. If you feel like you're missing a piece of information, I need to know about it, because it's my goal to make sure that you are confident in your company's performance, that you're confident in our success, and that you're confident in what's expected of you at work. And if you're not, then that's a problem, and it's something I need to address. So feel free to talk to your manager, your supervisor, your director, your VP, or even myself about the things that you want to know that you don't know. If we implement something and it wasn't done as well as it should be, I'd like you to let us know in a friendly way. So we're going to be rolling out an internal communications plan in quarter 4, and it's going to create a system to ensure improved communication among employees, the departments, and the offices. Wellness program. This is a rock for us for quarter 4. The goal is to increase the well-being and productivity of all of our employees. We fully believe in happy employees are productive employees. Part of being happy, I think, is feeling good about yourself. It's feeling good about the work that we do. It's feeling good just physically, in general, with your own personal health. So the wellness program, I think, is going to help with that quite a bit. Number one, we want to increase preventative screenings and services. Prevention is definitely the best way. Offense is your best defense against being unhealthy. We want to improve healthy eating among our employees. So what does this look like? Well, first of all, we're probably going to be a little bit smarter about what we buy for the break room, maybe where we go for lunch or the types of foods that we eat. You know, everything in moderation, so it's not like we're going to be having lettuce every day. But at the same time, we want to be a little bit smarter about this, and PowerGrid wants to contribute to your health as opposed to any unhealth. Increase physical activity, and this may be by, we're even having a 5K here in the not too distant future we're supporting. Things like that to help increase the physical activity that we do. Tobacco prevention and cessation. We definitely want to reduce the number of people in our company that use tobacco products. And stress management. We have high-stress jobs sometimes. Maybe it's not every day, but we do have high-stress jobs. We have clients that put pressure on us. We have maybe managers that put pressure on us. Maybe we have employees that put pressure on us. We do have high-stress jobs, and I think part of a healthy lifestyle is being able to manage that stress. I don't think we can ever eliminate the stress, but I think we can manage it in a healthy and productive way. And so that's part of what this is all about. So I'm excited about the employee wellness program. Healthcare. So we've all heard of Obamacare, and we all know that there's something that's going to happen out there that's really negative. It's kind of the looming fear that everybody has. So first of all, from what we understand, and we've been given a lot of counsel on this, we've been doing our homework. At this point, I don't anticipate the legislation to impact our benefits. We have meetings scheduled currently with our benefit advisor to discuss what we're going to do for 2014. And we're going to continue to offer employees the best plans possible. So here's kind of why I feel the way I feel about this. Is, one of the options as a company would be, instead of me providing health insurance for employees as an employer, I can pay a $2,000 per person penalty. So I could do that and cut my costs. The problem with that, number one, I don't think that's really supporting happy employees or productive employees. But Power Grid Engineering is competing for employees with big utility companies, with other engineering firms. And as long as we're competing for employees with big utility companies and other engineering firms, I can tell you that we're going to have to offer very competitive and comparable benefits. I think that's a fundamental part of our business that we have to keep our heads wrapped around. Is we are a business because we have you, and we have to keep you happy. We have to keep you employed with us. We have to be the best option for your employment. And so I think offering a competitive and a comprehensive benefits plan is part of that. So at no point in the foreseeable future do we have any crystal ball that says that we're going to stop what we're doing and we're all just going to be part of some government health care plan. As industry changes, I think we're going to have to follow and keep in line with our industry, whatever that is. For 2014, we're not expecting any changes to what we're currently doing. If anything, to get a little bit better. 2015 and beyond, I think no one has that crystal ball yet to know what that's really going to look like. So I can tell you our fundamental goal, though, is going to be to maintain the benefits plan that is going to attract and retain employees in our industry. So I think we have to do that or we're not going to be around. So I don't expect us to have any need to worry about what this is going to look like for right now. As we find out more information and we do these quarterly updates with you guys, we'll let you know. There's no secrets here. I mean, it's all in the news and everywhere else, so there's no secret. So we'll let you know. But our goal is to offer that comprehensive health care plan, full benefits package, same like everybody else in our industry is doing. Upcoming initiatives, the Northwest. So we are a Southeast-based company, Florida, Georgia, Carolinas, Alabama. That's kind of how we've grown as a company. It's where we started. That's where we are right now. We're definitely growing out of that. We brought Mr. Mike Schneider on as our Director of Business Development. And basically, he's doing a great job. He has a lot of relationships and contacts in the Northwest that he's had over many years with some of his previous employers. So people he has relationships with that are perfect potential clients for us: Avista, Pacific Corp, Portland General Electric, Puget Sound Energy, Idaho Power, Bonneville Power Authority. So all these companies are people that we are currently talking to, that we're working with. We're trying to get master service agreements. We're trying to get projects. So I think we're going to see a lot of momentum here. And it would be a goal maybe for one of our next offices that we open, maybe even to be in this region to service some of these clients and more. Another big initiative, Texas. So there's a lot of work going on in Texas. And as there's a lot of work going on in Texas, that's perfect for companies like us. But currently, we're not doing work in Texas. So we kind of have a plan to integrate ourselves into Texas. And it starts with really that first candidate who's going to be able to help us grow a field services business in Texas. We've identified him. We're currently working on a business plan with him and making sure that it's going to be a success, making sure that we have everything lined up with us, that financially we can afford it, that we can support it. And so we're working on that plan right now with the candidate we've identified to lead the effort. He's got a wealth of a network out there in Texas. He's got a wealth of resources out there and a lot of relationships, a great reputation. And so that's what we're looking for in that candidate to lead us into Texas. Some of the clients of potential work out there, Entergy is in Texas. They're down in the Beaumont area, Houston, Beaumont. CPS out of San Antonio, CenterPoint out of Houston. These are potential clients that we're already talking to. It's not like we're waiting to talk to them until after he comes on board. We're already talking to him. We're trying to open those doors such that basically we can enter the market in Texas successfully. My My commitment to you, I will do my best to lead our company into the future. I will make decisions for the long-term best interest of Power Grid Engineering. I will communicate the health of our company to you. I will keep my end of the bargain. Happy employees are productive employees. I will lead by example, and I will not let you down. What can you do? Number one, maintain existing clients. Work safely and efficiently. Complete the employee surveys. Your opinion matters, and we take it very seriously. You can lead by example among your peers and in your office. You can live by our core values. You can become a subject matter expert. Practice spending discretion. This is a new one on the list. And get involved. Dollars for Doers, get involved in safety meetings, get involved in anything you can get involved with. Volunteer, help us grow, help us be the company that we need to be. Be that example. Next steps. So this is a pre-recorded video, believe it or not. You guys think this is live, but this is actually a pre-recorded video. So it's currently Wednesday afternoon, and you're watching this Friday morning likely. So you're not going to be able to ask me questions right now, but we are going to have a Q&A time. So basically sometime during next week, I'll be coming to every office, either physically or by video conference, and we're going to do a Q&A session. So any questions you have, I encourage you to think about them today, write them down, be ready to ask them sometime next week. So I plan to visit all the offices here in Winter Springs and then to schedule a video conference with Birmingham, with North Carolina and Raleigh, with El Dorado, Kansas, and with our field service staff. So we don't want to leave anybody out. We want to get all your questions answered. We want to be very transparent. And we're going to have a third quarter update. So the third quarter update is going to be sometime in the end of October. So we plan to provide very similar information each quarter from now on. We want to do this better every time. So we need your feedback. If you didn't like the video, if you think I should wear a different color shirt, whatever it is, I need to know that. If you want to see more financials, if you want to see less financials, if you want more of the awards or less of the awards or whatever it is, we need that feedback. So please give us the feedback. We're going to do our best to make these efficient, to make these important and relevant to your happiness as an employee and to the success of our company. So thank you very much for your time and attention today. Thank you so much for your diligent focus on your work. That's apparent in our growth numbers. Thank you for taking care of our clients. Thank you for being team players, for helping us build our reputation, for being safe, and thank you for all that you do in support of Power Grid Engineering. Thank you very much. God bless. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it went really well.
Yeah.
And you were even funny, even pre-recorded. No one to laugh at your jokes. Maybe I wanted to laugh, but we were trying not to.
You don't be sicker.
Good enough. All right. Well, if you're happy, I'm happy. So.
Yeah, I think.
Recording. I just hit stop recording.
Okay. How'd it go?
I think it went well. Let's just hope that it
Recorded. Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah. It went really well. Once we got through all of the setups and shoot.
We'll let you know Friday afternoon how well it went. How's that?
Well, the employees will definitely let us know.
That's my point.
Friday afternoon how it went.
Yep. Okay.
So.
Oh, clever.
I'm going to go back to work.
All right, thanks, Mike.
As soon as I get my laptop, I can do the same. Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.